Hello and welcome to episode 35 of the Perth Paisley Podcast, a podcast dedicated to a team that managed to get back to winning ways at the weekend, extending their unbeaten streak to 7 matches, albeit 3 of which have been 1-1 draws at the famous Heart of Midlothian Football Club. I am a half of the Perth Paisley partnership, Adam Kennedy, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Daniel McIver. Daniel, how are you?
Very, very, very well. It's a wee bit different to break kayfabe of Perth Paisley. We're doing this on the Sunday, not the Monday, the day after. So the game's actually fresher in our minds, so we might have even more lukewarm takes. Cannot wait. How about you?
I'm sure that's the case. I'm pleased, mate. It's good that we'll get to talk about Hearts claiming another 3 points in the Scottish Championship. It's been a while. However, if any of our listeners fancy having a chat about the old Jam Tarts, then they can do so in association with Big Hearts and their Talk of the Toon Zoom calls. These have been going, I think, since January. But Talk of the Toon, if you don't know what they are by now, these calls obviously aim to offer supporters a chance at some respite from the struggles of the COVID pandemic, an opportunity to have an informal chat with other Hearts fans like they used to at the match or at the pub pre-COVID. And these 90-minute Zoom calls are free to attend and open to all supporters. So I'm hosting one this coming Tuesday. I believe it's with Tam from This Is My Story once again. So if you're on the call with Andy Webster, you'll have seen Tam and I before. Mr. McIver, you've been quite quiet when it comes to this Talk of the Toon malarkey recently. Are you planning to get involved again soon?
I am. Don't worry, I've had literally 4 people this week asking me when I'm coming back. Don't worry, I am getting involved. I've just been a wee bit busy on those nights. However, yes, it's just class, and it is just really good. Even if we're not speaking about Heart stuff, it's just a laugh.
Absolutely. So that's excellent news. But anyway, you can check out all the info at bighearts.org.uk/programs/talk o the toon, all hyphened up, the O on its own, and toon obviously TOUN for more information. However, we are of course going to dissect...
Wait!
Oh,
Wait. So, before we get into stuff, we actually have a shout out to give.
We do?
Yes, so as you can probably tell, listeners, Adam doesn't know about this.
Oh god, I don't know what's coming here. Go on.
So, this is a genuine thing, by the way. This isn't me pissing about going, we're having a shout out to Andy Halliday or anything like that. Like, it's a legitimate shout. After our episode released last Tuesday, I believe it was a Wednesday or Thursday, I was at work and I got a message from a certain individual who really, really enjoys the show and we really appreciate it. And Adam, I think you're really familiar with them.
I am.
Yeah, so basically, as you all know, as I hope you all know, we're releasing this on the 9th of March. And this weekend, Adam, what have you got your mum for Mother's Day?
Nothing yet. Why?
Well, that's a bit of a shame because we just wanted to give a mention to Janie Kennedy as I received a message. I'm just going to read it verbatim here. Hi Daniel, it's Adam's mum. I have a favour to ask. Adam's dad seems to get a mention every other week and I never get a look in. He point blank refuses to give me a mention. So I'm wondering, it being Mother's Day and all, if you could give me a mention. And of course I could. I could not let that opportunity pass me by. So Adam, what is this? Why have you been refusing to give your mum a shout out on your own podcast?
She mentioned it to me this afternoon when I said that we're recording. I don't know, because Hearts and I are both... I'm a jambo because of Dad. I don't know, I'm sorry. It's just one of those things.
She is a loyal listener. She has listened to every episode.
Only because I'm on here. I don't see her listening to This Is My Story or Scars Around the Funnel or nothing like that.
Then that is a further reason that you should support your mother. give it a shout. Listen, Janie, I really appreciate your listenership. I appreciate the message that you provided. I'm sorry that you've got such an awful son who will not give you support, and I hope you have a fantastic Mother's Day from me.
I have never heard so much nonsense in all my life. Yeah, have a great Mother's Day, Mum. Thanks. Thanks for the pain of me becoming a Hearts fan. Thanks for marrying Dad. The pair of you getting together and releasing me upon the world to talk about Hearts on some podcast every sodding week. It's been brilliant.
That was the other aspect of it. It was, I mean, for God's sake, I gave the wee sod life, which I really liked.
Brilliant. Right, well,
so yeah, we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming, but we needed to get that in right at the start. I wasn't going to wait until the end. It's shocking behaviour for you, and I'm glad it's been amended.
Wow, I really don't know what to say.
Happy Mother's Day to my mum, obviously, but she's not a football fan, so she doesn't listen, so it doesn't matter.
See, Mum, exactly. This is what I mean.
No, your mum listens. It's ridiculous that she doesn't get mentioned on here.
Well, I'm sure that my mum won't be aware of the score. However, we are going to dissect Hearts defeating Dundee as James McPake's side came down to Gorgie.
Look at you try and move into professional
absolutely.
Mode.
James McPake's side came down to Gorgie to take on Hearts on Saturday afternoon. Thankfully, this was something which slipped both of our attention last week without Charlie Adam, arguably the division's most influential player. I hadn't realised that Charlie Adam had tested positive for COVID, and I don't think you had either.
I did, I just forgot to mention it.
I totally missed it. But obviously, having had it, wish Charlie Adam all the very best. However, there were, of course, plenty threats of Hearts to remain wary of, even without their main man, Jason Cummings and Osman Sow in particular. Danny Mullins got a good scoring record against us, but I just felt as though it was a real chance for us to lay a marker down. Of course, Robbie responded to Brian McLaughlin mentioning play style concerns from fans in his pre-match presser and Anne Budge's apparent frustration at watching us. Is this just one of those games for you, mate, that you felt as though we had to win by any means necessary? Because that was certainly the case from my perspective before I gave, obviously, the prediction last week.
Definitely, we had to win it because it's against what should be our closest rivals in the race for the title. However, Robbie said something in that presser that I fully agreed with, and it actually ended up playing out, which is more of a bigger conversation. But he said that he actually thinks that this is going to be like a Premiership match because it's going to be two teams going for it, and he said that will benefit us because whenever we've played the games this season where teams actually want to win and don't just sit in, we tend to do better. And I think that was proven because a lot of people have obviously been going after the month of February that we had and how it was very underwhelming. Despite going unbeaten, it was very underwhelming. A lot of people went, we're knackered for the Premiership. And myself and a number of people were going, well, listen, we don't know what it's going to be like. And whenever we've come up against Premiership opposition this season, either, obviously it's not been in the league, but it's been in the Scottish Cup, we've done really well against them. A win and 2 kicks away from winning. And then any team, I know that like you would say Dunfermline, Dundee beat us away from home and they were at it, but that's just our away form. But I think what that yesterday proved, as we're recording this yesterday, was that when teams will actually go for us and not just sit in and soak up pressure, we can actually get into good positions, we can actually look good, and we can actually play good football. And that's probably helped as well by the formation change.
Yeah, no, I'd go along with that. I think it did prove very open yesterday, to be honest. And like you say, it looks as though the gaffer had been listening to you, Daniel, on this very podcast, as it appeared as though the Jambos were lining up with 2 up front and a diamond in midfield, like you mentioned. There were 2 changes from the side that played out the dire 1-1 draw with Inverness Cali Thistle in front of the BBC cameras. Andy Irving and Armand Nondouillet replaced Javane Castanier and club captain Stephen Naismith. Thankfully, Michael Smith's injury wasn't as bad as first feared. But what did you make of Robbie nearly copying your team player for player?
I know that was the other aspect of it. It was like, oh, okay. Not only has he went with a diamond, he's went with like the players I wanted and specifically the positions I wanted them in as well.
I think it was Big Pete, wasn't it? That was the only one.
It was. Yeah, literally the only player
for one of the goal scorers.
Which actually, exactly. We'll get to both. We'll get to both Peter Herring and the man I wanted him to replace soon. But it was so relieving. Like I was read the team. And I was like, what formation's that? And then as the team started to come out more and more, I was like, it's a diamond. Oh my God, it's a diamond. And as you say, we just looked better. It allowed, as I said last week, Smith and Kingsley, it pushed further up the pitch and getting more attacking areas. It gave protection in front of the back four. As I said last week, it allowed us to have a 10 playing off the two strikers. And it allowed the two strikers to be on the pitch at the same time, offering far more attacking impetus. And we just looked like miles a better team.
We really did. I'm totally with you with kind of, what is it with clubs these days when they put like a team graphic out and they do it by like numbers? Honestly, it infuriates me because I'm trying to work it out. Usually I read it to Dad and Mum if she's in, and I'm trying.
This is better.
I'm trying to work out
this all throughout the whole show.
I'm trying to work out that Gordon's in goal. It's a back four of blah blah blah, etc. etc. But I think
I was going to say, if you're struggling with Gordon, if Gordon's in goals, I don't think the squad listing's going to be in any good position.
You know what I mean. But would it be fair to say that it was? Do you know what? I looked at it and I thought it seemed quite a stuttering start. I know that Aaron McEneff flashes one wide early on, but that just seemed another ball that was sort of chucked into the mixer. It didn't seem as though it was a cross or a shot, but I just felt watching it, it was a pretty sluggish start till that point. Would you go along with that?
No. I think, especially in the first half, from the first whistle to the 45th whistle, I was just really happy. I remember saying 10 minutes in, I was like, this is great. And and I think I specifically said, actually, I was like, I'm fine with us missing chances or not getting the final ball perfect, because it showed that we were actually trying something. As you said, Aaron McEneff had a couple of chances actually in the first 10 minutes. Gary Mackay-Steven had one. Smith played a couple of balls in from the right hand side, and whilst they didn't come to anything, it was just like, we actually look like we give a shit. Now, I have a question for you.
Go on.
How much do you think it mentally affected the players to be shooting into the Gorgian for the first half?
I'll tell you what, it affected me. Because I just...
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. It massively affected me.
Oh, it's horrible. It was one of them where as soon as the coin flip was done, it was like what? This is wrong. But listen, I mean, it can't have had that much of an effect because, like you say, we certainly dominated that first half.
No, I think it did have an effect. I think we would have been shit if it was normal and we were shooting into the Rosebud. But because we shot into the Gorgie, we've always been better at home in the second half. So the players must have just thought it was the second half and just were like, oh, aye, we're good in the second half.
That's each to their own. But can I talk to you about something? Because we obviously had early chances, like you mentioned. Liam Boyce nods over. Aaron McEneff lines up another one sort of outside the area, but it was a tame effort past Jack Hamilton's right hand post. Jack Hamilton, I have absolutely no idea what was worse, his goal kicks or the Hearts TV graphics pre-match with the lineups and the spelling and all that, because oh my goodness, I cannot believe that he was once our goalkeeper, first choice
his
goalkeeper.
Goal kicks were worse. His goal kicks were worse than the spelling, because you can at least go, well, human error happens with those spellings. I've never seen Jack Hamilton have a good performance in goals in my life, ever.
Do you know what? Actually,
even when he was our first choice.
I thought he's very first in the derby. I think we won 2-1. He came in because I think there was an issue with Neil Alexander way back when. I can't.
Cannot remember.
I'm adamant that he started in goal that day. But anyway, after these chances, Andy Halliday went close again with another cross that nearly evaded your man Jack Hamilton.
Yeah, what was it? Was it a cross or a shot?
It is absolutely 100% a cross when you see the second replay.
Yeah, he looks up.
And he looks into the box, 100%. But I'm really pleased with his performance because he spoke to Barry Anderson during the week saying that the squad have sort of let Robbie down. I think had he not contributed the way he did, there's no doubt in my mind that interview would have been dug up again. As somebody that isn't an Andy Halliday fan by any means yourself, what did you make of his performance?
I thought, in particular, the first 45 minutes was the best 45 minutes he's had in a Hearts shirt.
Which you say isn't hard.
I don't know if that's... Yeah, I know. I was just about to say, I don't know if that's like, well, as long as he stayed upright, it would have been his best 45. But genuinely, I thought he was very good. Very good. It was one of those performances where it's almost frustrating because it's like, where has that been?
That type of domination, wasn't he? He really took the middle of the park by the scruff of the neck, I thought, and was out really, really good. I mean, I think we had a couple better performers within the 90, but first half, like you say, I thought he was excellent. Yeah. And of course, he gave us the lead after a tame Gary Mackay-Steven effort. And Armand Nongdouye failed to latch onto a Michael Smith cross. However, the goal itself, the latter two players I just mentioned linked up. Obviously, Smith feeds Big Nando down the line. He crosses for Halliday to head home. To me, this is just absolutely peak Heart Midlothian. We've got a 6'4" centre forward out on the right hand side, crossing for a 5'8" midfielder to score. How was your?
It was as if he went. This is what I want you to do for me, so I'll demonstrate it. And then we just never did it for the rest of the game because everybody else went, oh, class, he'll do it.
How was your Twitter timeline once Andy Halliday had scored?
I got a few mentions, not as many as I would if Jamie Walker ever does anything of note.
Brilliant.
But I did get a few mentions. But I was delighted, as I said on Twitter, it's a fantastic goal all round. The ball from Smith down the line to Nandwile is great. In all seriousness, I think Nandwile might be the best crosser of the ball at the club. Because he's done that a few times now. It's not like, oh, that was a bit surprising. It was like, oh, when he gets the ball, we're going to do something. So that's his second assist, and they've both been from great crosses onto the head. And then Halliday does really well. I can understand why some people will say Jack Hamilton should do better, because one, it's Jack Hamilton, and two, you just think, it's really close to him, he gets touches on it, should he do better? But I will give him slightly the benefit of the doubt, because Halliday's really close and he's hit it with a lot of pace onto it.
Oh, I mean, he has to score from the position that he's in, and it is a brilliant ball in to find him. I think any criticism of Jack Hamilton's harsh, but I mean up the other end,
I think it's just because he gets quite a big touch on it, so I think people will go with that level of touch. You should probably save it, but I think that's a bit harsh.
No, I think so, but up the other end, I mean, we talked about how much we dominated the game. How Dundee didn't pull level directly before half-time, I will never know. A Jordan Marshall free kick is headed away by Mihai Popescu, again, who we'll touch on later, but only as far as Paul McGowan, who smashes one off the post before Paul McMullen heads over from, I mean, he must be a good 4 or 5 yards out.
He's no more than 5 yards.
How on earth did Dundee not score?
They're not a very good football team.
They can't be all that decent.
How's that for an answer?
This is something, because that was, of course, all that she wrote for the first half. However, McMullen's wasn't the worst miss from a former Dundee United winger.
It was. We're just not going to speak
to
about
come
it
into the match.
Fine.
No, sorry. But Jason Cummings...
Adam, did you see the pass, though? Did you see the pass?
Well, this is what I'm going to get...
the pass?
This is what I'm going to get into, because Jason Cummings has a shot blocked at the start of the second period. From that Hearts then break, I couldn't believe it. Honestly, for once, it seemed as though all my dreams had come true and we would make the most of our numerical advantage in an attacking situation. Boy slips in Nandwile, again finding himself in a wide position, who centres for Gary Mackay-Steven inside the 6-yard box. He's literally 2-3 yards out with a goal at his wake, and he fails to put us 2 goals to the good. I wanted him substituted at this point.
So did I. I burst out laughing, but as I was laughing, I was like, Jamie Walker, get kitted, mate. Get on this part.
I could not believe it. I was literally... I didn't know whether to... I didn't know what to do. I was so angry, yet me venting, I was helpless in that situation.
I full-on belly laughed. Like I was almost crying. It was so funny.
I was then papping myself though, because you know what it's like. It's always the same situation as a football fan. You're watching a game, you're dominating the game, yet you're only 1 up, and you just think all it takes is for some pinpoint cross. Again, all it takes is for somebody that's 2 to 3 yards out with an open goal, and lo and behold, we walk away with a point. But of course, Liam Boyce then hits the bar. Dundee had a half chance of their own, but it appeared to be game over when Armand Nandouillet put Hearts 2 to the good. Gary Mackay-Steven...
Best player, Adam. I would just like to say this. You mocked me for this. 3 weeks ago, the podcast is called The Gorgie Saviour. I was like, he's going to be the best player in the world. So far, he's played 5 games, has 3 goals, 2 assists.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing, but Gary Mackay-Steven feeds him with a pinpoint pass. I mean, it is an absolutely superb ball, which makes amends for his sitter. But as much as the big man was superb, it's a fortunate finish.
Nah, well, but this is the thing, right? It's fortunate in the sense that it comes back to him. But I saw so many folk, including Mr. Laurie Dunsire, by the way, being like, oh, I knew nothing about it. If you watch it again, he directs his foot towards it, he positions his right boot completely flat, and he opens his body up, because as soon as he sees the deflection, he knows it's coming back to him. So, and again, I actually felt a wee bit sorry for Jack Hamilton, because it is actually quite a good save from the initial shot, but as soon as it comes back to him, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, he should score the first chance, if we're being harsh, but
if we're being very harsh, yes.
Oh no, come on, he should score. It's a. But
that's what I mean. It's a very good save.
Yeah,
but it's a very good save
for once from him. But I don't know. Yeah. I do feel as though there's some fortune in the finish. I can't lie.
Of course, there is, because it comes back to him. Like, yeah, there's almost no chance that normally happens. But I just didn't like it when people were like, he knew nothing about it, what a jammy bastard. It's like,
because he does sort of lift a leg or whatever. Yeah. No, I think you're right. But he's another who spoke to the evening news kind of during the week. I don't know whether you saw it. Obviously, he was primarily sort of citing his frustrations regarding us not getting the ball in the box enough. Yet, whenever I watch him, it's as though he has to cross and try and make stuff happen for himself, like we said earlier. You know, when Bigucci was here, we'd never cross. When it was just Boyce, we'd cross constantly. Like, why can we not find that perfect balance, do you think?
I think it's weird. Like, I think there's an element of Nandouillet just going at the park going, I'm not going to get any crosses here, so I need to go wide. And then it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because no one can cross it to him because he's not there. But at the same time, he's right to do that, because we just don't cross.
Honestly, it does my boxing whenever I watch us. But I'll tell you something else that does my boxing. We've just gone 2-0 up, restricted Dundee to few opportunities with half an hour to go. A couple minutes later, Mihai Popescu slides in on Max Anderson, takes him out for no apparent reason, and gives Dundee a route to get back into the game, having created very little. As the defensive half of this duo, why does he slide in there? Because
I don't know.
Because if Andy Irving is the Portobello Pirlo, I'm going to dub Popescu the Bucharest bomb scare.
Listen, he was so good in that first half.
He was, but again, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. There's no need for you to make that challenge.
I just don't understand. So, Joe Sked compared him to Schrodinger's cat. Are you aware of that?
No.
Mental problem?
No.
So, Schrodinger's cat is the philosophical quandary that philosophy students get a lot, where it's like, this guy Schrodinger puts a cat in a box with it varies sometimes from cat food that has poison in it or just a poison thing, right? You don't open the box. By that logic, you don't know the cat is both alive and dead because you haven't opened the box. So the cat could very much be alive and just not have eaten the food, or the cat is dead, but you will never know because you're not opening the box. So it's both alive and dead.
So you're saying he just opens the box and doesn't give a toss?
No, Joel Sked compared it to being Popescu is both comfortable and woefully uncomfortable at the same time. Because how can one individual make that challenge he made in the first half when it was 0-0 and then that challenge for the penalty?
Honestly, he just terrifies me. I beg.
I love him though. I hate it. I hate that I do, but I love him because he adds an element of all other players in the team go, we need to score hunters because he's got to let things go.
Oh, what? You're saying he adds that attacking incentive?
Yeah, exactly. Imagine having him on your team. You'd be like, I need to get a hat trick today or we're going to get beat.
He terrifies me. I beg. If there's anybody at Hearts listening into this, I beg that we've got a centre half, ideally two, lined up in the summer. Because, listen, I'm not going to criticise the defensive performance because for an hour we looked much better than usual. But like I say, it's just shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, Robbie spoke.
He did a thing, right? He did a thing right at the end, but it was like the 89th minute. And you're like, right, we're hanging on here. You've got the ball, just send it. He tackled the guy so well, took it round him, had a chance to just send it down the channel, and it would have got it away. Either, I can't remember if Aidy White or Boyce was making a run. Maybe both of them were. I don't remember. But instead he tried to take it past another guy, got tackled, and Dundee nearly scored.
Honestly, this is what I'm trying to get at, because Robbie spoke to both Hearts TV and the BBC about wanting to reach the final or the final stages of the Scottish Cup again. I can assure you we will be absolutely nowhere near it if we're as poor defensively as we have been this season. Because now...
I've seen some people suggest Popescu's like Zal, though. Where there's clearly a player there.
Listen,
there clearly is.
No, I get that, but I mean, I can't remember Big Zaliukas being as much of a bomb scare as Popescu is.
I disagree. Zal
Maybe
was
this
like,
is just my young naivety, but honestly,
the amount of things I remember Zal doing really early on when I was wee, just legitimately thinking I could do better. I'm like 9-year-old here, and I could do better. There was times where Zal would have been, if it was up to the fans, Zal would have lasted 6 months, and that was it. But it's kind of the same with Popescu. I will say, I'm with you in that I think I would not be arsed if he left in the summer, right? I would be fine with it.
Thank God, because you seem like a sentimental type, definitely.
I am. I'll miss him because I love him. I know I shouldn't, but I love having it. Also, I'm fine with him doing that because it means that Berra isn't in the team.
Do you know what? This is your equivalent. Sorry to cut you off. This is your equivalent to me loving like these screwballs. You just love a defensive disaster.
No, I just love an anyone disaster. See if there's somebody who can either be class or absolutely terrible with no in between. I love them.
GMS is your man of the match for Saturday then, isn't he?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Oh,
but I just love having that type of player who you don't know if they're going to score a 35-yard raker or just score an own goal off their own face. Like, I love having that.
See, there's something. Do you not think he's more like an Ozturk than a Zaliukas?
No! Because he can't score a 40. However,
how do we know? We've never seen it. He might.
That's so
he might unleash one. We don't know.
He's rubbish in the opposition box with all his chances he misses. So let's just have him hit them from outside the 18-yard box.
Oh dear. But anyway,
listen, he's rubbish, right? He's rubbish. Well, but there's clearly some in there. There clearly is, and I'm going to hang on to that forever. And he was much better than Halkett.
I'm not convinced, because now that's 6 clean sheets in 19 league matches. Bear in mind, we've got one of, if not the best keeper in the country, particularly given the latter stages of Saturday, and we're supposedly too good for this level, but in my eyes that's nowhere near good enough. 6 clean sheets in 19 games.
Fuck it, we're scoring hunters.
Listen,
I want to be entertained. Saturday entertained me. As someone who's not been entertained by football for about 7 months, Saturday was entertaining. Because it was that period,
it was.
Just before we scored our second, where boys hit the bar, they ran up, Gary Mackay missed that sitter, they ran up again, then we broke again and scored, and it was like a basketball game for 3 minutes.
Oh, it was carnage. But I couldn't help but have a browse of Transfer Market earlier. I would literally take anyone at this point. I was looking at Premiership clubs, centre-halves out of contract. I'd take Big Cleve back. I'd take Effie Ambrose. I'd take Mikey Devlin, even though he's always injured.
You would not take Effie Ambrose.
I'd take Tommy Hoban. I'd take Ash Taylor. I'd take Declan Gallagher.
You would not take Ash Taylor. Shut the fuck up.
Over Popescu. Over Popescu.
I'd rather have Berra over Ash Taylor.
Oh, you're at it. Well, I tell you, Ewan Murray's out of contract at Dunfermline. We could do a lot worse than him.
I thought you meant the fucking Sky guy.
Oh, aye. Yeah, part-time golf journalist, full-time footballer at Hearts.
Hey, if any club was to do it, it would be us.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, that shall I say, lapse of awareness?
No, because I think he meant it.
Oh. Well, anyway, he got Jason Cummings in the mood, because later on, Cummings unleashes one outside the box. Craig Gordon spills it. I'm convinced that Osman Sow should equalise. But again, it's like, I know we were great for the first hour of this game.
So couldn't do it to us. But there's too much nostalgia there.
But is it a mentality thing? Like, it's literally one incident from them winning the pen, and all of a sudden they just fancied their chances of carving us open like eyes on a Halloween pumpkin. It's like, why do we
what the fuck is that now?
Why do we do our best to try and chuck this away all the time? Literally, we're cruising to one of the easiest 3 points I'll ever see us win in this league so far, and we go and do that.
I think everybody kinda shit themselves a wee bit, and I mean,
of course
the fans.
Of course they did. I was pamping
it.
I was pamping myself.
See, as soon
it's
as
Dundee at home, they're rank.
But my point is, I don't understand why everyone was so nervous. We were never going to not win that. See, when So missed that, I was like, that's it. I stopped getting worried, because I was like, oh, that's it. If they're not going to score that, that's it. They're not going to do anything. This is the thing, I saw folks saying that in that last 20 minutes we were bad. I disagree. We were up against it a bit.
Oh, come on. We were awful.
I think that's fucking mental. That's mental. In that time, we had a further six shots with 4 on target, and we actually conceded 4 shots with 1 on target.
What, throughout the night?
We had more chances.
Or in that period?
No. In that 20 minutes, that were the stats for that last 20
Seriously?
minutes. Yes.
Really?
And this is what I mean. Because this is the thing. Hearts fans get into this mindset and going, we're fucked! And in fairness, I can understand it, right? I can understand that. But I don't know if it was just me. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it was just me, right? But when So missed that, I went, right, they're not going to come back into this. You can't miss a chance like that.
I was
and
literally
still think you've got to win the game.
I was literally at the polar opposite of the scale. I thought, how have they missed that? And again, it was, to me...
Yeah, of course I was. I was like that. I was like, how the fuck have they missed that? But when they did, I was like,
but the
that's it then.
But the McMullen one in the first half was a warning. No?
Yeah, but the point is, we took that warning and then won the game.
Well, this is the thing, because you say that Liam Boyce is our most influential player. For me, it has to be Craig Gordon, because he kept us in front with a few saves towards the end.
Two. But that's what I mean. That's why I just didn't feel nervous, because I was like, well, we've got Craig Gordon, and it feels like one of the games where it's just like you cannot have the opening hour to 65 minutes that we had and not win. Like, it's very rare that ends up happening.
Listen, we'd try and find a way. I've got absolutely no plans about that.
Of course. As I say, if any club would to be the one to do it, it would be us. But I just didn't understand where some fans came from, where it was like, we were good for 60 minutes and we were terrible for 70 minutes. I thought we were very good for 60 minutes and just kind of fine for the remaining 20. I think defensively we were very solid, especially in the last 10 minutes.
You've got a nerve. I thought we were solid for an hour, and then do you know, I tell you what summed it up for me was Peter Haring's cameo, because
that made me laugh more than GMS's.
Because at the start of the second half, it's not long before we take the lead. It's great. By the end of it, I'm wondering how on earth we've managed to hold on. And it's sort of, I don't know, I sort of found myself comparing it to Haring in that it's great to see him, but it's of absolutely no consolation whatsoever given he's then sent off.
I mean, I feel bad for him. Like, it's his one chance to get back into the team. Halliday's actually had his best performance. And then he does that! Like, it's one of the worst challenges I've ever seen.
Well,
it goes in
thank
at
God.
The knee.
Because I see Robbie laughing at the red card being issued.
It's funny. It is funny, like.
But it's a definite red, isn't it?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
I mean, this is the thing, because I saw on Twitter that we're supposedly considering appealing it.
No, this was a clickbait headline. This was a clickbait headline. That isn't what Robbie says. Robbie says is that his first view of it, it was immediately after the game, and he went, my initial reaction was, he was like, Haring was in front of me, obscuring my vision, so my initial reaction was a yellow, but by everybody else's reaction, I don't know. He was like, I'd need to have a look at it if we're going to rescind it. He didn't go, we're going to try and appeal that. Like, no, but then the headline was, Robbie Neilson considering appeal. Well, it's like, no.
I didn't click the article if it said any consolation. I just
fucking read them.
I just read the headline and just continued scrolling. But thank God, because I was begging that we don't appeal it. Because I mean, with all due respect, it's Ayr at home, and whether Hearts see it differently, we don't need Peter Haring, who Robbie doesn't seem to even fancy anyway, to beat Ayr at Tiny. I think we take it, we suck it up, we move on. But I do feel for Haring as well, because Robbie said post-match that he was sort of looking to rely on bounce games and reserve games to get Big Pete up to speed and back into the team. And then he just goes and does that. It's like, I just felt as though he wasn't that far off making his return anyway, though. I mean, I don't mean it'd be too disrespectful, but now's surely the time to get him up to speed for the Prem, no?
That is exactly my view. Like, I've seen a lot of Hearts fans speak about the fact that if we manage to get through March... A lot of Hearts fans are saying we should now go the final 8 unbeaten, which I do kind of agree with, to be honest.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, but we'll get to that.
But especially if we go through this month unbeaten, then that's the week done. So it is. I do feel like it's like, right, maybe not just now in the immediate 2 weeks, because Wraith have 3 games in hand and Fairmont have 2. We need to get our results in order, kind of thing. But after that, it is kind of like, right, there's a few games left. Let's just try stuff that Robbie would like to try next year. And one of those things is, please just go and put Herring in the team. Please. Even if we have mathematically won the league with like 3 games to spare, and then we lose those final 3 games because you're playing Herring.
Yeah, nobody's arsed anyway.
Exactly, who gives a shit? Like, just do it then. Yeah. Or just even do. I'd be happier with it beforehand, but at least do it then. I really hope it's not that we never see Peter Herring again, apart from 5-minute cameos. I want him to get 90 minutes under his belt. Yeah, exactly. So. Like, I want him to get starts and 90 minutes under his belt sooner rather than later, because I still think he's going to be so important for us next season.
Absolutely, and this is a great little segue, because Robbie has said also that he would like to remain unbeaten until the end of the season. I'm assuming that means in league matters, given we've also now got the Scottish Cup to compete in again.
Yeah.
But if we go through the fixtures, I've got them in front of me. Are there any that you can see us losing?
I can't remember them all, actually, so go and just run through them, and I'll say yes or no.
So, Ayr at home on Saturday.
Should win that.
Arbroath away.
That'll be hard, but
I agree. I think that'll be trickier
lose.
I think that'll be trickier than most folk anticipate, given they are flying. Well, bar the weekend, obviously, with the Queen's.
I was about to say, but they are doing it. They're now up to 6th, I think it is. So yeah, I wouldn't be happy with a draw, but
it's one of them. If you had to,
yeah.
Queen's at home.
We should win that.
Dunfermline away.
That'll be hard. That will be hard.
I'd love to see us do them at East End just for earlier on in the season, because that was terrible.
Couldn't we potentially win it at East End if we win all our games?
I was trying to work this out with my dad. I don't know how it works, because obviously the games in hand, I mean, they're all over the place. So it's like, how can you even gauge it? Do you know what I mean? That's just one of those things. But potentially that would be quite nice. Alloa at home.
Oh, we fucking should absolutely batter them.
Morton away.
I think, isn't it like Morton haven't had a win in like 3 months?
They just lost at home to managerless Ayr, who were occupying the relegation playoff place.
They've got a fitness coach in charge of them.
Aye, that's Anton McElhone, I think his name is, or something. Aye.
Whatever his name is, but I swear they've not won in like 3 months. So of course they came to Tynecastle and picked up a point. But nah, we should be. One of our best performances this season was
at Capello. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, we should aim to replicate that.
Inverness at home.
That's a weird one, because I feel like the 2 home games we've had against them this season, both in the Cup and the League,
both one of them I think, didn't we?
Yeah, one of them was a lot harder than the other. I actually felt the Cup game was a bit harder, but again, I just feel
that was because of how rusty we were, I guess, to an extent. Because was that not the very first game of the season, or did we win 1-0? I think it was. Was that 1-0 Walker Penn? I feel like it was.
It was a 1-0 Walker penalty. It was, yeah.
And then Wraith away, which is
that last game of the season.
Yes, and that's on a Friday night, and I'd imagine in front of the BBC cameras. So I'm already dreading that.
It would be so us to go 7 unbeaten, and then we end on a Friday night away from home and get beat.
And then we've got a 3-month gap till we're back in the Prem.
Yeah, exactly. But no, if we play like we did against Wraith away last time, it should be a comfortable win.
I would imagine that it's realistic to think that we'll go unbeaten through that, to be honest. The Fifers are the only ones to have beaten us in the league out of that. Obviously Alloa knocked us out the Betfred, but I think the 2 Fife teams away and Arbroath away will probably prove the trickiest test. I mean, I don't think there's any excuse for us to win Ayr at home, Queen's at home, Alloa at home and Inverness at home, personally.
Yeah, we should be winning all the home games.
So, but anyway, that's just one of those things that I wanted to also ask you, because Robbie said post-match that the only decision that he was sort of struggling with was who plays in the 10. Now, you said last week's pod that you reckoned Gary Mackay-Stevens should play. Were you not still that little bit surprised to see Jamie Walker omitted? Or were you just of the mindset of,
no,
well, I think he's been class off the bench, so Robbie might see it that way? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I do. Like, I will understand why people are annoyed that he's not starting, but I think there's been very few games this season, apart from the only one I can remember is Morton away, where Walker started and been really good. But I can remember most times where he's come off the bench and actually either got us a goal or just generally looked quite good. So I definitely do understand it, especially with Naismith being out injured. Now, obviously people will maybe be calling for Walker to be starting next Saturday against Ayr. My belief is always you don't mess with a winning team. However, Robbie does. Robbie messes with a winning, drawing,
He
or losing
loves
team.
it.
He does. Even if it's just one change, he likes to just mix it up a wee bit. I personally, though, would, if everybody's fit, I would keep the exact same starting lineup next weekend.
Even despite GMS's sitter, I mean, that pass was brilliant, but I watched him and I thought that he just seems that little bit bereft of confidence, which was a surprise because I thought up at Inverness he was good. But I don't know.
I don't know if bereft of confidence is. I think he just needs the luck to go his way. But that quality of pass,
sensational.
I know he missed 2 big chances, right? But as I said at the start of this, I'm kind of just more happy that we're in the position to be making those chances now. And I think, and on any other day, he scores at least one of them.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair enough. I just thought with Jamie Walker omitted that there might be something going on in the background. I don't know. I just think it's a tactical thing where Jamie has been better off the bench. Interesting. I don't know. I'd be intrigued to hear other folks' thoughts about that, to be honest. But because he certainly seems to be one that divides opinion. And whenever you see, or you have seen a Hearts team be released in recent weeks, it's always, where's Walker? I can't believe Nazy's starting at 10 or blah blah blah. So I don't know. But another thing that I'm intrigued to gain your opinion about. I know you're very vocal about it on Twitter, but I just wanted to hear a little, not a rant as such, but
I don't even know what this is going to be.
No, well, another league title was of course secured this weekend. Rangers winning the Scottish Premiership following their victory over St Mirren
today
at Ibrox on Saturday.
As we're recording this, literally today.
Before Celtic's stalemate at Dundee United today, like you say. There's been talk of Hearts playing and coaching staff that obviously have connections to Rangers.
Oh God!
Being involved in the title celebrations via FaceTime over Saturday and Sunday. For me, personally, don't give a toss. What about yourself?
Right. All I will have to say to the people who are complaining about this is, imagine if we won the Premiership, right? And as an example, Robbo is at Aberdeen. Do you know, Hank? Would you not expect him to celebrate a wee bit? Or if Rudy was somewhere in Scottish football at Dundee United, let's say, do you know, Hank, he'd celebrate? I really don't understand this thing where football fans are annoyed that either playing staff or management staff have the gall to not support the team that they work for. Like, Andy Halliday, first of all, as we spoke about last week with the open goal stuff, it doesn't affect his performances that he's a Rangers fan, especially when we're not even in the same fucking league. Who cares if he's phoning Scott Arfield, especially because they were teammates for so long as well. Like, Halliday was, not only is Halliday a massive Rangers fan, he was in that bubble. And then McCulloch, it's like, Lee McCulloch is a Rangers legend. Of course he's going to celebrate. It's not even the fact it's just them celebrating Rangers. It's the you have to appreciate, listen, I hate Rangers. I hate Rangers just as much as I hate Celtic. They're my joint second most hated teams just behind Hibs. I hate Hibs above all, and then joint are the Old Firm. I have no pleasure in seeing Rangers doing what they're doing, much like I've had no pleasure seeing Celtic doing what they're doing over the last 9 years.
Or seeing Hearts doing what they're doing.
Exactly. I just don't like football, to be honest. I don't know why I'm here. Much like I don't have any pleasure with seeing the way Rangers fans are acting today.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that as well. Like You're not happy with that. You'll be branding them COVID-idiots.
Well, they're just fucking selfish, is what they are. Like, and it'll be those people who are complaining about a third lockdown that will absolutely be justified in the Glasgow area now. But that's a separate point that we're not going to get into. But I don't see the issue with it.
No, I don't see the issue with them getting involved in the celebrations or whatever if it's over FaceTime or that. But I'm not going to lie. If I was in the Rangers fans' shoes and say we'd won the cup in December, absolutely I'd be heading out 100%.
No, it's not acceptable.
Come on, it is.
No, it's not at all. Genuine, in all seriousness, it's really not, because it's just a spit in the face to everybody who have either died or have been regularly risking their lives throughout this past year. I know that football is the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing in my life. It's the biggest thing in your life. It's the biggest thing in so many people's life. It doesn't actually matter, though. In the grand scheme of, especially this past year, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
We were so quick to chastise Celtic fans for what they were doing with the Neil Lennon stuff and the protests. This is as bad, and it is rich seeing Celtic fans going, look how despicable this is. And it's like the same folk tweeting who were videoing outside Celtic Park
and outside Hampden to welcome the team bus in December.
Exactly. Listen, they're as bad as each other, and it's not acceptable. I totally understand, because what is that saying to the other Rangers fans who are staying at home? Are they saying that they don't care as much about the club? That
I don't think they give a toss.
Celebrating the league.
I don't think they've given a toss. They've literally just ended Celtic's dominance. What I'm saying is, so to say, because I saw somebody on Twitter, are you saying to Rangers fans who are not out there just now that they don't care as much as the people who are out there? No, absolutely not. I mean, it's just...
But that's the point. So why can't the people out there not celebrate in the exact same way as thousands of other people are doing in their own homes safely?
Because... I don't know. I guess that's the power of drinking whatever else they're up to.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's part of the fucking issue. But that's the thing. Obviously, it would have been hard for us not to speak about this. Like, a very monumental event in Scottish football has happened today.
Which was, quite frankly, hilarious, because I cannot stand Celtic.
It's so funny. That's the thing. I hate them both. But as I said on Twitter, it's objectively funny how much Celtic have fucked this. And I know we're a Hearts podcast and stuff like that, and we're not...
But everybody listening will hate Celtic.
And Rangers!
I'm not 100% whether everyone listening will.
Yeah, I know,
but,
I know. Sadly, I know there will be many people that quite like Rangers, especially for reasons that I am definitely not a fan of. But, just, well done, Rangers. Just stop being selfish twats. Cheers.
Well, there's McIver's summary.
Yep.
I think before we go, what are you sort of anticipating from Ayr at the weekend, mate? Anything major? Because if we're being frank, they gave us a right scare on Boxing Day at Tiny, and we scraped past them at Somerset because of... No, come on.
I think you'll go back to that point, and I remember we won 5-3, and the third goal came in the 90th minute. I wouldn't say you gave them a scare, and I know they went 2-1 up, but as soon as we made subs, we blitzed them. It was more a bit of a kick up the arse. I hope the game's like that, though. I hope it's just mental again. Listen, I fucking hate football now. I just want to see exciting games. If that means we go 3 down and then we end up drawing 3-3, that'll be class.
What, a 3-3 draw at home to Ayr?
If we come for 3-0 down, if we're 3-0 up and it ends up 3-3, I'll be jumping out the window. But...
And you keep the same team?
I personally would, yeah. I wouldn't I wouldn't change much because I just think it worked. I don't think Irving had an especially good game.
No,
but
do you think he'll sign that new deal? This is something that I want to ask every week until he does, because every week as it goes on, I get my fear levels increase that he won't.
Nah, I've just accepted that he's not.
Oh my God! Don't say that. Don't break my heart like
It's
that.
not happening, mate.
What did you make of the folks saying that he's bang average?
Oh my God! Like, what? It was just mental.
This is like those posts that you see on like Hibs.net, and you're like, that's definitely a jambo.
I saw somebody the day say Boyce is never in the right position. He's the top goal scorer in the club and league.
Oh dear.
What do you mean? He's never ever in the right position. His positioning's off. He doesn't do enough. He's been playing of the year.
His position is awful, and that's reflected in his goal tally.
Like it's not like he's played 17 games, got 11 goals, 5 assists, or anything like that, is it? I'm so done.
Oh dear. Just again, I couldn't help but share that that post on Twitter about the boy saying that he's heard that his Aberdeen are like lining up a pre-contract and all this shit.
Okay.
About the role and like, oh God, how can a 20-year-old male be dictating to the manager where he wants played? I mean, Andy Irving, let's be frank, is brilliant, but it's as though he's trying to claim that he's bigger than Hearts. This is nonsense anyway. I'm just spouting off nonsense that I've heard to try and justify why he's not signed. Please just sign, please.
Like that stupid We Are Scottish Football page that I don't think has got anything ever right.
That's the one I'm referring to, like, that I shared the...
Yeah, it is just like... he's annoyed at Nielsen's defensive tactics, so he'll only sign us. It's like, what are they on about? Like, what? Listen, I'm going to put my cards on the table, right? I know some people won't care about this, but I saw 25 people message me about this who are Hearts fans who listen to the podcast. There's a wrestling show on tonight that I'm really excited for. So my brain's going 100 mile an hour, which is why I've been a bit more all over the place with this show. But it's meant that I'm properly just shouting out mental opinions. But I feel like none of them are as bad as Andy Irving isn't good.
What it
is so many Hearts fans. Yeah, is that so many Hearts fans are going, he's no signing the deal. I'm just going to pretend I've never liked him.
I'll be devastated. Particularly if he goes to Aberdeen. Oh my God.
And that's the thing. Amarusa Lets It Run, a fantastic page. If you don't follow already, please do. But I said that on Twitter. I was just like, I've just resigned myself. And his point was, he wouldn't be gutted if he went from a playing standpoint. And I went, I totally get that. I think Andy Irving is replaceable. And I was in the tweet, I was like, potentially we've replaced him with Aaron McInnes, because McInnes looks really good. The bigger issue I have with it, if Irving does leave without signing, is that it's another academy graduate with promise who is either left for far less than what we expect, a la Hickey, or nothing at all, like Patterson and Nicholson and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, you're bang on, mate. And I don't know, I mean, I was trying to think of other sort of discussion points, because obviously John Souttar's now back as well, or back in training. Or I mean, I don't want him in the equation, as harsh as that is to say. I really hope that Hearts haven't rushed him as well, because it seems needless again. But
absolutely, because that's the thing, we're saying that even though Popescu and Berra are nightmares, we're going to be able to win this league, so there is no reason to pull him back.
No, exactly. I mean, it's... Do you know what? We might have scraped past Dundee 2-1. We could have and should have won the game by more. Yeah, I'm actually pleased to talk about Hearts this week. How refreshing is that?
We were just good. We could have won that game like 5-1 with the amount of chances that we missed. Yeah, exactly. If Popescu didn't have that just fucking idiotic moment, we would have kept a clean sheet. I just want to say though, by the way, I want us to have a celebratory pat on the back.
What about the prediction?
It was the week that we literally went, have we ever predicted anything right? And then we both got it right.
Absolutely phenomenal work. Fantastic.
So what's your prediction for Ayr this weekend? Can we make it 2 from 2?
Oh, well, I'd like to think that we'll tighten up defensively and keep a clean sheet, because like I say, the clean sheet tally 6 from 19 is not good enough for me. I'm hoping we'll make
I
that.
think we'll concede more than 3.
What?
I think we'll concede more than 3
on Saturday.
Because we conceded 3 last time. I think we'll concede 4 and score 7. 7-4 is my prediction. It's not. But imagine that. Imagine how class that would be.
A goal averaging every 8-9 minutes. That'd be incredible. I'll say a 3-goal margin with that clean sheet to take it to 7 out of 20. I'll say that Hearts will win 3-0. You?
Interesting.
Hopefully. To be honest, I'd be more chuffed with a clean sheet rather than us scoring 3.
You want a 1-0 90th minute falling over and you're absolutely buzzing because we kept a clean sheet.
There was me moaning a couple of weeks ago how we're only scraping past 1-0. I'd bite your hand off for 1-0 at this rate.
This is what I said to you. I said this to you the other week. I was like, you're so hot and cold about what you want for this team. When we start scoring loads.
But I've got no qualms offensively. I just think we're
That's
car
not true.
crash at the back.
You've been having qualms recently because you've been like, how are we only scoring 1?
But look at the weekend with 2 up top. It's amazing what you do when you've got somebody else up there. It's not like I've been crying out for months for us to sign a target man to partner Liam Boyce, and then we finally do it and we look so much more convincing like Saturday.
In fairness though, he's not playing in a
target man. He's playing as a winger.
He's playing as a nippy winger.
This time is all the tosh, innit? It's a 4-3-3. Gary Mackay-Stevens drifting over to the left, Big Nando's drifting out on the right, and we've got Boyce in the middle. It's brilliant.
I swear there was times where Boyce and Nandwilly were left and right wing and GMS was through the middle.
Honestly, what a buzz. So what do you say for your
2-0.
prediction? 2-0.
I'm going 2-0 Ayr.
Shut up. No, you're not.
No, I'm going 2-0.
Clean sheet.
Yes.
We both said that we'll
but
keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, I know. What if... Listen, this is the streak. The streak is going to start. We're going to start... Because we're going to count it that as long as one of us gets it right, the streak continues.
I cannot wait for Luke McCowan to open the scoring inside 5 minutes.
How dare you. Don't you dare jinx us.
However,
though,
that's
this
part
is
of reverse
a
psychology.
Genuine question.
Go on.
Genuine question. Say he does score within 5 minutes, right?
That counts.
no, this is the team advantage. I was going to say, and then we go on to win 5-1. Would you be happier with that than a 3-0?
Depends on the state of the goal.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, it does. If it's an absolute worldie from outside the box, I'll just be like, cool. But if it's some dodgy back pass and he's rushed in to intercept and he slots past the on-rushing Craig Gordon, then I'll be angry.
No, see if we win 5-1.
And he scores from a dodgy back pass. Come back to me next week.
If we win 5-1 and their goal is Popescu turning around and shooting into our own net, I'll take it because it's 5-1.
I don't know.
I don't mean that in the sense of that sounds like I'm like, yes, it's the Hibs score. I mean, we can win 4-1 or 6-1. I just mean if we win very comfortably, even with a stupid goal, I'll be chuffed.
I'd like to see a barrel load of goals. I feel like we're on the verge of doing somebody proper.
Yeah, I know
we've not had it in a while. Do you see where I'm coming from? It feels like we've got one in the system that we're ready to unleash. And to be honest, I'd rather we kept it for, I don't know, Queens or Alloa at home.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That was a lovely moment. Did you see that tweet from a guy where it was a few weeks ago or a month ago or something like that? He had a Legends thing or a hospitality thing through Kickback, and Gary Locke was on it.
Yes.
And when they beat us when Dundee beat us at Dens, James McPake apparently shouted, "Where's your bottle now?" Well, it makes me so happy to announce that James McPake is... Did you see James McPake has never beaten us as a player and only ever beat us once as a manager?
Yeah, I heard Laurie say that on Saturday, so that is very pleasing indeed.
How shit is he as a man?
I get it round you, James McPake.
Exactly. What a final message to have. Absolutely get it fucking up you, James McPake, Charlie Adam, Jason Cummings, John Nelms, Gordon Strachan.
Jordan Forster.
Fuck off.
Yep.
Exactly.
Round the lot.
Jordan McGee. Fuck off. Jack Hamilton. Just all yous. Fuck off.
Paul McGowan.
And your shit hair. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. We are at Perth to Paisley on all the social media platforms. You can also get us on YouTube. If you want to just look at a still image from the game, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Massively, massively helps. We will be back next week to discuss a whole bunch of stuff. But Adam, in the meantime, where can people get you on social media?
They can get me on social media at Adam T. Kendall. What about yourself, mate?
I am at McIvor the Mark. Please all enjoy your week. Happy Mother's Day to Janie Kennedy, and we'll see you next time.
What a JTs!